Odell with Odell Complete Concrete. Today we're going to build a fire pit right here. This is a little add-on to this retaining we started yesterday. So we're just going to build the outside dimensions of this is going to be 5 feet by 3 feet. They're 8-inch wide block. So I'm starting to dig the footing, and then we'll set the block. This retainer will be about 20 inches above top of concrete slab. The actual fire pit top of block height will be 12 inches above, so it'll be lower than the actual retaining wall. Also, it'll be utilized as a seat wall around this side of the fire pit, and then over on this side you could put like an L outdoor sectional sofa, you know, on this side of it, so you'd have almost complete surround seating, you know, on this fire pit. It's just going to be natural wood burning, so there's no gas to it at this point. They may add some gas in the future, or they have to tunnel underneath the concrete, but we're going to leave a dirt bottom in it, so it's an option down the road. You know, that's about it, and then we'll show you some more later. So here we are digging out for the fire pit. We're just going to make probably an 8-inch deep by 12-inch wide footing for this fire pit. You could potentially sit this on top of your slab, but we're going to put it in ground, which I like better because then you don't need a drain. Otherwise you'll have a concrete under your fire pit, and then the water would accumulate in there. What you'd have is a swimming pool, basically. So if you leave the dirt in there, the water can just absorb into the ground if it were to rain or anything like that. Also, the owner spoke about potentially putting a gas line and going underneath the new slab and popping it up into the fire pit. A tricky job, but it is possible. So what we're doing is putting the concrete all the way around, and then I'm going to, the footing for the actual retaining wall behind it is the same level I want to start at with the fire pit. So I've already established that footing is going to be below the slab 3 inches. So we want to kind of do the same thing with the fire pit, because this will all be encased in concrete for a new patio. The only difference between the fire pit and that retaining wall there in the background is this fire pit will be 2 courses. It's actually a course and a half exposed and a half a course below. So you end up with a 12-inch high fire pit, and the retainer will be 20 inches high. So that means you could actually sit on your retainer wall, because you know the chairs typically are about 18, 16 inch high. This retainer in the background there is going to be about 20, so that gives you a little seating there around the fire pit, and then on this other end you could put some chairs or whatever you like to sit on around this area. The basic structure, we have a number 3 rebar in the footing wrapped all the way around it. And we're just going to solid grout everything on the block itself. Now on this block, on the actual grout joints, I have some fire clay. That's what this, it's an additive you add to your mortar mix, and it makes it more of a fire retardant. In other words, it doesn't get as hot. So concrete, when it gets to a certain temperature, it kind of pops or explodes. So you want to put that fire clay in there to so the heat doesn't get too hot in those joints and explode the mortar. So that's what we've done here, and that ratio on a pre-mixed bag of mortar is about 8-to-1. Well, we've got all full blocks here on the bottom course. Other than 1 block or 2 block on the bottom course will be 12-inch. And then you'll have the same thing on the next course, and then that's the end of the fire pit. Other than installing some fire brick on the inside of this, Anyway, you need a fire retardant panels on the inside of this fire pit of some sort. You make sure to keep your wood in about 6 inches from the edges, or somewhere in there, 4 inches. Now this block wall is going to get tile on the outside. The homeowner started this particular project, and I just ended up kind of getting the basic foundation for him. He's going to do the decorative, which is going to consist of the tile facing, the waterproofing on the back of the retaining, and the caps. And what caps or what tile, we're unsure at this point, but that's something that will be figured out at some point. Hi, David Odell here with OdellCompleteConcrete. I just wanted to show you a little bit of this fire pit. It's not totally completed, but this is your basic structure. We've got an 8x8 block, because that's what we use with the retaining wall. You could potentially go with a 6-inch wide block for something like this, but we use the 8x8 so we can have the same cap, matching cap on the retaining wall and the fire pit. And then important thing to remember on these fire pits is fire retardant. You know, block and concrete really isn't fire retardant. So on the grout we used clay, fire clay it's called. We added that at an 8-to-1 ratio with the pre-mixed mortar, so that those joints are fine. Now what we have to do is put a liner on the inside of that, and that'll keep the blocks so they don't overheat and potentially pop. So that's basically, also the nice thing about this fire pit right here is this, I was just thinking about it, I was thinking, wow, that'd make a good barbecue island as well. If you just start with a cabinet there, put a propane tank in there, go up, and put your counter and your grill. So it's kind of a universal setup like this, so you got a lot of options. And then on the retaining, that becomes your seating. Also we'll put maybe an L seating here, seating on the wall. Now all this retaining is going to get covered with tile, and it's going to have a tile cap as well. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing that part of this job at this point, but that's the long-term goal here. Anyway, stay tuned. Make sure you watch this as much as possible to get some good ideas. Well, thank you for watching the videos. If you'd like to see the next part of this, I will show the video in the upper right hand corner. You can click on that to continue watching this particular job or something similar. Thanks for watching and have a good day. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to see the latest and greatest as I roll them out. Thanks.